You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Strutting from Gorilla.
Hey guys, it is December 9th. We are days away from the last time we'll see John Cena. The last time has arrived, Vito. And we are here to talk a little bit about Saturday night's main event. Here to preview the action. We got a really good card coming up, and we're going to share a little bit about our experience at Raw when we got to see John Cena for our final time, our last time in Boston. We're really excited to talk with you guys about that. And, we got the ticker at the bottom, folks. So make sure you follow us. And if you like what we talk about in this episode and you have some time before Saturday night's main event on Saturday, we invite you to go back into our archives. We actually recorded a Superstar Spotlight episode on John Cena that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So go and check that out. But without further ado, let's dive right in. Big Vito, how we doing, man?
Yeah, you know what's funny, Mikey, is I went back and listened to our Spotlight episode, and this was right before or right when he announced his retirement. And I mean, I feel like we're pretty close to hitting on all cylinders. If you look at our predictions, they were pretty good. I will tell you, it was definitely more of a little bit more negative of a podcast than we typically do about a superstar. I re-listened to it and I felt like there was a lot of complaining about his career. So I want to emphasize that we both really do like John Cena. We respect his run, but we are analyzing his full career. So go back, check it out. I'll actually try to put the link in here on YouTube so you can click right on it and we can go from there. But yes, so before we get into the actual last match that's coming up here, I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that me and you had the privilege. Oh, and Sarge, actually, special shout out to Sarge because he helped us get the tickets.
Shout out to Shards.
To go into the last Raw that John Cena was in Boston. And I do want to talk a little bit about that. So, I'll let you start off.
Well, again, I echo your sentiments. Thank you, Sarge, for hooking us up with the sweet tickets that we were able to have for this show. I think it was a lot of fun. The I mean, the vibe there was pretty electric. People were ready to go for John Cena's last time. And what a way to start off that show. It was the November 10th Raw, if I'm not mistaken. It was the week before the MSG show. And the whole intro from Triple H, the way he kind of built him up, brought him out, the crowd was just on fire for him. And I think it was one of, if not like, unfortunately, like the highlight of like his last time is now tour, like his farewell tour this year, has been that whole segment he had with Dom Mysterio. And
Yeah.
it's a real credit to Dom. It's just it really shows how far Dom has come as a worker. And I know this is about John Cena, but I think they go hand in hand because I think Dom really made this feel like a really important feud for John Cena in his last feud ever. So I thought Dom did great work on the mic. He was in such a tough spot to come in there, being in the ring with not just Triple H too, which was sort of like watching over this whole thing, but you have the GOAT. You got John Cena, who we've seen eat guys up on the mic when they can't, kind of match his level. I mean, he did it to The Rock even, right? It called him out for writing the promo on his arm that time. So John Cena's not above just like ripping you a new one if you can't get to his level when you're in a segment with him. So the fact that Dominic was able to hang the way he did on Raw, I thought it was fantastic. And the match itself was great. That whole impromptu Intercontinental Championship match, I was excited. I was going nuts about it. I don't know about I think the rest of the crowd was too. It was awesome. And to be able to bear witness to his final championship win And for it to be such a important title for him too, to become a Grand Slam champion, there's really nothing like it. It was such a great experience.
Yeah, man, I echo all of those thoughts. What I think was cool about it is leading up to that Raw, um, you knew it was in his hometown. You knew he was going to step it up in Boston, and uh, it was electric. Um, I felt like going into that when we were going there, it was a feeling I haven't had in a long time going to a sporting event. Like the sense of excitement, right? It was something unique, and I felt like it was just going to be bigger than what it felt like it actually was. It was just a Raw, right? And it felt like we were going into something bigger. And I remember, we were grabbing some pregame drinks, and we saw the note that he was gonna face Dominic Mysterio, which you knew at some point he was. And I think we both looked at each other and we were like, he's gonna win that belt tonight. Like, there's no way he's not winning that belt. And like, it's gonna be an electric moment. And it was, right. It was something that I think when you look back at the end of his run here, sure, it's just the Intercontinental title, right? But to win it on Raw the way that he did, that truly felt like his real last Raw. I mean, because the next week he went to Madison Square Garden and he was in the tag match, which was great. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but I don't think you were going to live up to what he did in Boston. And I think he wanted to do something special there. Whether WWE wanted to or not, I don't know, but I think they granted him that wish. And I think it's going to be a highlight of his last run. I really do. Especially, you're right, with that feud with Dominic Mysterio. It was great, and it was a good match. You're right. It was a really good match, and that was the loudest pop when he won that I have heard in a very long time, in person, man. It was great. And I mean, listen, we were lucky enough to have really nice seats. We were in a suite with a group of people, grown men, mind you, and we were loud enough in that suite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was pretty unbelievable. So yeah, hats off to our fellow co-podcaster here, Mike Sarge Riley, for hooking us up with those seats. And I think it was something that we'll always remember. I think it was really cool. So
I think, to your point about how great it was, I I think that when you look at his whole farewell tour, it was this match with Dom, well, the segment in the match with Dom, and to me, his match with Cody at SummerSlam. Those are the two big highlights that stand out to me. And
yeah,
it makes me wish we had more John Cena during this farewell tour. And that recent interview he did where he said he wanted to do like a full run with 220 dates. I mean,
yeah, I saw that.
he wanted to do like a old school full-time schedule, and apparently was told otherwise, which I guess was really surprising, but maybe not surprising given how tickets are priced these days. I think they purposely wanted
Yeah.
to keep that pretty scarce.
Well, that could be one area. I mean, it could also be like, what was he demanding for money? That could also be a piece of it too. And
Yeah.
I think people give this last run more criticism than it deserves. I personally have really enjoyed it. Was it set up perfectly? No. You mentioned the Cody match. I think the CM Punk match was his best match out of all of them. Him versus CM Punk was unbelievable. And I mean, the way they set it up was just tough, because I think some of his better feuds happened at the beginning, than they did towards the end. And again, I'm not going to criticize it. Listen, I'm the first one to criticize everything on this podcast. I will go down a rabbit hole and criticize a ton of things, but listen, overall, I thought it was fine. It's not
Yeah.
often that a wrestler gets this type of treatment, and I thought it was really unique. Listen, it kept me engaged, right? It kept me engaged to watch, and it's rare that happens that way,
Mhm.
nowadays. So I was pleasantly surprised. Did I love the heel thing at first? Yeah, I thought it was great. That
Yeah.
just they didn't it didn't come through the way it should have. And you know what? I give them credit. They fixed it. They changed
Yeah.
course. And you
Yeah.
can blame a number of reasons why it didn't work. But the fact of the matter is it didn't. We got a chance to see this unbelievable moment that shocked everybody. And I would put it up there as one of the top moments because it did surprise everybody. It didn't come to fruition the way they wanted it to.
I look at his heel turn in the same way that I look at Austin's. The crowd just wasn't ready for it. And they didn't really want to boo him because it was his last time. And I think I think I had mentioned this, I think, on an earlier episode, but what the story of sort of where he was then was almost this guy coming to his own realization that everything was coming to an end. So he does this heel turn. He was angry with the fans. He got to get out some of that uh, lasting resentment, frustration that he had all those years, and then he got it out. And then he sort of came back around, and we saw that in bits and pieces. As I think the Punk match was a turning point as well. After that match, and he's standing there at ringside, and he hears the crowd, and you could see the turn starting to happen there. The inner turmoil of how much do I really hate him? How much can I really hold this against him? It is his last time. So being able to watch that evolution of that character throughout this last year has been a really cool like character study to me. I don't know. I get into this stuff because I'm a therapist, so I'm always like looking at, all right, what did this mean to him? So I won't get too much into that on this podcast, but anyway.
No, I listen, you're not wrong. Um, I think if we want to analyze that piece real quick, the I thought the execution of the heel turn was one of the best. Like I just thought like, the way that it happened, number one, took everybody by surprise. But number two, like just the way that it happened with The Rock and then like Cena going in for the hug and then this and the problem is if they were going to use The Rock that way, they needed him to be there in a different light after the fact. He didn't need to be there every Monday Night Raw and whatever, but they needed to kind of explain that piece better and have like an outcome of it. Number one, I think that would have been good for that whole turn. Number two, I think it's a way that you could have gotten The Rock involved more in John Cena's last kind of farewell, right? He was a big part of Cena's career. If you're looking at this farewell tour and you're looking at everybody that's been involved, they've tried to get pieces of his career um, to show and kind of come full circle. And it didn't come to fruition with The Rock, right? Like it would have been great if he had a little bit more involvement in his farewell tour here. So that's just my 2 cents. That's what made it fizzle, whether it's schedules, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter because they weren't able to fulfill that. I think that's what the issue was.
This is where I think that date issue comes into play because I think with
Could have
more
been.
exposure to the heel John Cena, you would have been able to get it established a little bit better
Yeah.
and may have provided more opportunity for the scheduling to work out for there to be some rock segments in there. So I think
Yeah.
that's where they might have missed a little bit,
Yeah.
and
They
it
definitely
hurt
did.
the execution of it.
They definitely did. And listen, it is what it is what it is. I still am happy they did it, but I'm happy they flipped it when they did because I think people
Mhm.
were yearning for him to be like, all right, this is it. Now it's time. We want to celebrate you. Like great heel turn. You got
Yeah.
us. It's not working
Mhm.
out. Let's go. You know,
Oh
we
yeah.
so anyways, as far as the uh his last match,
Right.
right? They had this tournament, which was great. I think my problem, and I texted you about this. again, I'm going to critique this a little bit. At the end of the day, it is what it is, and that's fine. I personally think they could have built upon this differently, right? Everyone kind of knew that Gunther was going to win, right? Would you feel pretty confident in saying that he was one out of all of the people in that tournament? Could you have seen him fighting LA Knight? That would have gone completely against everything that he had announced in Boston, where he's trying to push the newer generation of talent, right?
Well, so like yes and no, because yeah, you're right. He is trying to push the new generation of talent, but part of that new generation of talent, if we're going to say it's Gunther, is a guy who's already won the championship twice, and LA Knight hasn't won at all. So talk about I personally
Okay.
think there could have been a springboard there for LA Knight to be
But if they
guy
haven't,
that ended it. Especially as you're going from December to January, you flip that calendar. Now you got the Rumble coming up, and you got somebody with incredible momentum.
and fair, I would say fair, but at the same time, if WWE didn't push, LA Knight didn't need it. He was already hot over the last couple of years, and because they didn't push him, it fizzled out. So like, and I'm not saying it completely fizzled out, but I just looked at it and I'm like, if you were to take him and win this now, that doesn't make any sense, because at some point he was organically hot and you didn't even need Cena for LA Knight. So how are you going to use this? That wouldn't have made any sense. Gunther was kind of already looked at as the guy I think we were going to see him face at some point. And if it isn't, you haven't seen him now, I feel like he ended Goldberg's career. He's a great wrestler. He's great on the mic. He's kind of that steady guy who can help put on a great match. I feel like we knew, and we even guessed it on the John Cena episode, that we thought it was going to be Gunther. So we were pretty confident it was going to be. So to have this tournament, I thought was fine. I liked the idea of it. But my thing is, I feel like we got robbed of what could have been. Meaning, I look at Gunther and imagine him and John Cena having like 2 to 3 weeks of segments on Raw, building up to his last match. Everyone, I feel like, is so hot on Cena. They want to see him win this last match, right? Everyone's going to be invested in it. Now you got this guy, Gunther, who wants nothing more than for him to lose this match, and not only lose it, but wants to tap him out. Do you know how invested that crowd is going to be in trying to see John Cena win, right? I just think they missed an opportunity here to really build this match. People are going to watch it regardless because it's his last match. I get that.
Oh yeah.
But like emotionally, I think they could have built it up a lot better just by having a few more segments. We got one segment last night on Raw where Gunther came out, and I think we could have had a real segment with the two of them talk. Like, they've never really interacted. Like it.
Yeah, it creates like a one-sided feud in that way. It's seen as just sort of there, and again, man, it's just making the point of the dates. If you had
Yeah.
more dates, there's more opportunity for this kind of thing to happen. With 36, it's hard to have that kind of investment when you don't have the other person there.
No, I don't disagree with that. I still think here's my thing. I think it was a little bit of a lack of planning, right? I think they kind of threw a few things against the wall, and if they kind of used those dates and planned it out a little bit better, I think it could have been even better than what it is. But again, I don't think it's bad. I've been invested. I think everybody has been.
Still good.
It's been great. It's been great. These are just my 2 cents on where I think they could have really amplified it. I do love the fact that Saturday Night Main Event is going to have some very interesting matches between like older talent and stars and some newer talent.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my god, I almost called him Heath Slater.
Leon Slater.
Leon Slater.
And
Yeah,
Javon
I almost
Evans.
called
Yeah.
him Heath Slater.
I knew that's where you were going.
Those two tagging versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee is going to be awesome. That might steal the
It definitely could.
card.
And you got Leon Slater, the current X Division champion, in TNA and the very first X Division champion with AJ Styles. What a
Oh,
cool
you didn't
moment.
even think about that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
Yeah,
he
great
came
moment.
out and raised his hand at the
Mhm.
TNA
At Slammiversary.
Slammiversary. That's right. Yeah, good point. Yeah. That I didn't even think about that. That's a really great point. Yeah. Now you have I'm a little bit intrigued by the whole Cody Rhodes and Obafemi match because I feel like Cody Rhodes and oh my god, I'm blanking on his name.
Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks. Yeah, Ricky Starks. I feel like those two are very good friends in real life. I
Mhm.
feel like that match would have been pretty cool to see. But all of a sudden it just got swapped on us, which isn't a bad thing because I think Obafemi is going to be a pretty big star, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it's just a different type of match because you got this big guy who's kind of almost like Brock Lesnar type dude versus Cody Rhodes. So
Well, Cody knows how to work a guy like that. From his matches with Brock are great. So I think this will
sure,
be maybe along that line. Make Oba look great, even if it's a losing effort. I don't think Oba's going to lose much there by like losing to the champion.
right?
If
No,
that's how it goes, and maybe they surprise us. Who knows?
yeah, no, I don't disagree. I just think it would have been intriguing to see Starks and Rhodes. I feel
Mhm.
like from a wrestling standpoint, like pure professional wrestling, I felt like that would have been a banger.
Oh yeah.
For sure. But yeah, it's still cool. I like the way they set it up. What are the other matches? There's
Well, the
the
only other
woman's
match is it's Bailey versus Sol Ruka, former
that'll be
SFG guest.
is it one-on-one? I thought there was a tag match. Wasn't it Bailey and
No,
someone else? No, that's it. Okay.
no,
I
it's a
missed that. All right.
one-on-one. Yeah,
Okay. I
should be good.
listen. I think that'll be a good one too. I think those are all guys if you were looking at the top echelon of younger talent in WWE, those are all of them, right?
I mean, I think it's going to be a nice. I feel like if it was up to John Cena, there would probably be even more
Yeah.
like NXT people involved in this mat not on this card. But I think I feel like John tried to get what he could get out of them, meaning the company,
Yeah.
in terms of what they would be willing to be flexible on. But
Yeah.
I think he clearly has a very like intentional philosophy on trying to bring up those new people as much as he can with as
Yeah.
much time as he's allowed. And I think that runs a little contrary to how the company WWE really wants to do it.
Yeah.
So I think, and maybe that's because he had only so many dates and he wanted to get as much exposure for these people as he could.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a very cool night. It'll be something that's
Yeah.
unique. It's not like there's like a bunch of title matches that, it really is about seeing the
Mhm.
younger talent and then seeing John Cena. The one thing I will say, there's one guy that was not involved in John Cena's farewell tour, and I think he's overlooked, and he should have been somehow. I don't think he should have been wrestling, but I feel like there could have been more ways to get people that were involved in John Cena's career involved without necessarily having them wrestle. But the one guy that I think of that comes to mind is JBL
Hmm. Wow, that's a
because
good one.
he literally he's the one that put Cena over when he won his first title.
Hmm.
And he had a great feud with JBL. I think multiple times, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you didn't even have him come out. Like you would have think having him come out, like even in the heel situation. Like imagine you put the situation with The Rock, and then you add JBL to that mix, and then JBL kind of becomes the de facto like voice because The Rock's not there. That would have been pretty cool.
You could write it better than they did.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you're right. I should shut up.
You don't need to shut up. I think it's good. that is very much somebody who I think is undersung as somebody along in John Cena's development
Yeah,
as a star. I
yeah,
mean that they had a match. It was maybe a month or two after WrestleMania in 2005. It was like Judgment Day. They had this big I Quit match. People should go and check it out. Get on Peacock, deal with the navigation, but you can find it and it's worth it. It's one of like the bloodiest matches you'll ever see in WWE, but really like that was like a statement making match for John Cena. And
yeah,
that's all due to JBL.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they could have even done like a whole heel faction just based off like people, a couple stars from John Cena's past, right? Like
Mhm.
you add in Kurt Angle, he wasn't involved at all. You could have brought him
Yeah.
in. You could have brought JBL in, RVD. Like those three had like this little heel
Yeah.
stable that's trying to end John Cena's career in a negative light. And yeah, I don't know. That's just my
Well,
thought. And
who knows who'll be ringside on Saturday? So maybe we get little bits and pieces of that. Like maybe Kurt Angle's at ringside,
that's a
maybe
cheap pop.
JBL's
That's
there.
a cheap pop for me, though. Like, great, you show him for 2 seconds and say, "Oh, this
But
guy."
what have they shown you that makes you expect anything different?
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. You're right. You're right. I listen. I understand, but listen, I don't want to. I'm not being negative today
No, we don't need to
because
be.
I've overall been very pleased with
Oh
John
yeah.
Cena's run, and contrary to what some other people think.
Right. I know everyone's going to have their opinions on it, and that's fine. Uh, but they're wrong. What are you going to do? So I want to ask you a question about the match itself because I feel like we don't always do this. But how do you think their styles match up with each other, Cena and Gunther?
In my honest opinion,
Yeah.
I don't think it'll matter, and here's
Hmm.
why. If styles mattered with John Cena's career, um, his career probably wouldn't have been great because again, we go back to that podcast we did. We both agreed that John Cena's in-ring work, like as a professional wrestler, was probably not top echelon, but his ability to tell a good story in the ring was always great. And it's evident by his last run, even with some of these matches, like even with Dom. Like he's at a point in his career, the reason he's retiring is because he said, when I can't do it anymore and I can't put on a great show, I'm not going to do it. And I mean, he's still able to do it in a decent light. But I think what makes John Cena great is he brings out a lot of good in the other wrestlers, right? Like he makes the other wrestlers look very good. And I think the Gunther match is going to be hard hitting. I think it's going to be brutal. And I don't know how they're going to end it. And in fact, this is the one time I am not going to give you a prediction because I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know that there's a right way to end this, right? Like, do you put John Cena over Gunther? Would John Cena want that? I don't know. I don't know. Because just having him tap out to end his career, I don't know how that. I don't know how you end this, man. Like I really just don't.
there's
And
a lot of different ways it can go. I mean, so maybe he doesn't tap out, but what if he passes out? And so he still never gave up, but he just never, never give up, never surrender,
or
But
he taps out and he finally gave up, and that's why his career ends. Like
yeah,
like
exactly. They could do a couple of different things, or they just swerve us completely and they just have him get pinned in the middle of the ring, just
yeah.
completely just give up on the giving up thing.
I'm a sucker though for a real good emotional ending. Like the Ric Flair
Mhm.
ending with Shawn Michaels, great. Even Bubba Ray, like sure,
Oh man, yeah, Bound for
like
Glory was great.
yeah, but you know what? As lame or as like cliche as it was, man, it got me.
Oh
So
man.
I'm a sucker for that. What I don't want is like the Brock Lesnar ending where he just gets destroyed and it's like, oh, well, he's old. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. Give me something that has a little bit of emotional
Right.
value to it.
Well, they're opening the show with this match. Cena and Gunther are not the main event.
I did not know
So,
that.
yeah, so I don't know where this show is going to go. So I'm interested to see, man. I don't know.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
How do you open the show? I
Mhm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Now I'm
Yep.
intrigued. But here's the thing. I'm not going in with I'm going to take a page out of your book here, and I
Yeah.
am not going to go in with any expectations, so I'm not let down
Mhm.
because the amount of times that I'm
Yeah.
texting you being like, I hated this because my
I
expectations are so high. But you know what?
yeah,
Here's the thing. This
Mhm.
one's different, Mike. When Triple H says to you, "This is going to be the greatest wrestling pay-per-view of all time or premium live event of all time,"
Oh, man.
you're setting my expectations way up here. So you can't fulfill that. So don't even say that. Just go in. I like the pay-per-views where we go in, the expectation is what it is, and then it overshoots where you think it's going to
Mhm.
go.
You're it's almost like at some point we're putting Triple H's announcements about PLEs in the same category as Tony Khan's. They're the same.
It's
It's
very
the same
similar.
place. The Magnum, Ferrari, it's all the same to me. They
Yeah.
just make a proclamation because one, they know it's going to get engagement either way. Someone's going to be upset about it, or people are going to like really buy into it. So I think that's just where we are in professional wrestling in 2025, heading into 2026.
Well, listen, I'm just telling you, you don't tease me and underperform because I'm not going to be a happy man. But if you overperform and don't tease me, I'm going to feel a lot better. I'm going to feel a lot better. I mean, it's the truth. It's the
But
truth. I mean, to some extent, you look at the Survivor Series, like War Games.
mhm.
I don't think people were very happy with it, to be honest. Like, you go into that, you got probably one of the best War Game men's lineups that you've had.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. I don't know. The way they built it up was like, oh, this is the best ever, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it came across that way.
No.
I don't. I don't. I mean, the people at the arena were basically booing at the end. I mean, you end it with a masked man who you don't know who it is jumping the cage, and that's how it ended. I feel like when you were expecting Punk to kick out, and when he didn't, I felt like you just heard a collective like sigh from the audience when that happened.
We're a fickle bunch, us wrestling fans.
Hey, listen, if everything was the way we wanted it to be, we wouldn't have this podcast.
That's true. Even when it is the way we want it to be, we still find something we don't really like.
Yeah, so let
But
me
we
ask
do.
you this question though. Okay,
Uh,
how do you think an appropriate way to end the John Cena match is going to be?
I think he taps out. I think Gunther becomes the fourth person. So it's Jericho. Well, actually, he's only
It'd be the fifth.
the fifth. Was
Yeah,
it
it'd be the fifth. Angle.
Jericho,
Well, actually, no, it'd be the
Benoit?
fourth. It'd be the
Angle was twice. Made him
Angle's
tap.
twice. Yeah, at the beginning of his
Yeah,
career, before he was Super
yeah.
Cena.
And it still counts.
It
I'll
does.
take it.
It does. Yeah, maybe that's where you see Angle. Maybe see this would have been a great. This would have been an amazing. Again, if we had more time with Gunther, you have Angle come
Yeah.
out, just being like, "Hey, not only did I make John Cena tap once, but I made him tap twice." And like he
Mhm.
takes Gunther's side and says, "I'm going to train you. I'm going to train you on how
Yeah.
to make John
I don't
Cena
know.
tap."
It, there was a lot of different ways this could have gone to get to Saturday, but
Yeah,
they took the route that they took. And there's a lot of factors here. We talk about the dates. There's other things probably that we'll never be privy to about what really led to them doing it this way. But
yeah,
I'm still happy about it. I'm looking forward to it because no matter what I might have changed on the way over here to this final match, I'm still excited that we get to see it. I mean, think about how many times in wrestling that a wrestler of his stature doesn't get the opportunity to go out this way.
yeah. I know. I
We have
know.
seen when you look back, like especially like in the 80s and even in the 90s, like a lot of those guys just sort of like went away with a whisper, like nothing. Like they get a match on like Sunday Night Heat or like, Live Wire. I mean, like that was it, you know? And so I think this was a
Hold
really
on. Did you
cool
just give us a live wire reference?
Yeah, I did. I did. Shout out Todd Pettengill. Um,
Oh,
but dude, I'm saying the business has not traditionally been kind to guys that were on top and towards the end of their career. So
yeah.
the fact that John has earned this amount of respect from the company as a whole to do something like this, I think now starts to set a precedent for, like we were talking about off air here, a business model for them going forward with some of these aging stars. Is
Yeah.
there a way to still capitalize on it, give them some respect, and but maybe not have them in the main event all the time? You know, I think there's a way to do it to make it feel important. So I now you start thinking about who's next on that list, and to what extent will they do this level of like farewell tour?
So let me ask you, who's next?
Not Goldberg. Uh, I think if they're gonna do it for anybody, there's two guys that come to mind maybe within the next year: Randy Orton and AJ Styles. Those are the two that come to mind as they're really sort of towards the end. Randy and his back, really got to be looking out for that. So I could see Randy's not even really being all that much because of his physical issues.
Mhm.
AJ, I think because he's a TNA original, there's always gonna. This is like a WWE thing, but I think that they're only going to give him so much, as
Yeah.
not to the level of Cena for a farewell tour, but I think he'll get something, and I think maybe you're seeing a little bit of that with this tag match with a TNA X Division champion and him being the first X Division champion. I think there's something to that.
Yeah. No, I think those are good ones. I don't think that either one of them will get nearly as close to the kind of tour that
Mm-hmm.
Jericho's getting. I just don't think they have that star power. Even Randy Orton, unfortunately, I think he is a good WWE superstar. But I don't think that he can command the same type of tour that John Cena had. And Styles, same thing. And I think part of it is the TNA piece. And I think they will do something for them. I just don't think it'll be to this level. If there's anybody that I think could probably command something similar to this, I really think it'll be Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho could be one if he ever decided to come. I mean, I think that's probably the only way you entice Jericho to come back, right? Like, I think it's great for both businesses. I think you get another one of these runs from a superstar. I think the fans would love it. And I think Jericho, it's a great way for him to go out. And let's be honest, it's time for him to go out.
Yeah. The learning
So,
tree is entering its final autumn.
yeah,
It's-
yeah.
Doesn't have any more springs left. So
Yeah, and listen, I give him credit. I think he's done a good job. That's not anything to knock on him. I love Jericho. I just, you can see the difference between when he started in AEW and where he is today. So
all of them get there eventually.
they do. They do. But like other than those three, I don't know.
Maybe Punk later, but that's probably another couple of years before we're really into something like that.
Yeah.
Roman, I don't feel like Brock is the kind of guy that
No.
he's
I
gonna
don't think
even
he'd want
really
it.
want something like that. I think he was just like he'll just be in the mountains of Saskatchewan,
Yeah. I
and we'll
agree.
never see him again.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I think WWE saw money signs and I think they'll
Yeah.
again, I don't think it'll work for everybody because you got to have that star power, and Cena
Mhm.
does.
Yeah. That's why I think Punk would be someone
Agreed.
that'll be kind of right up there because
Yeah,
he's got such an appeal.
I think if Bryan Danielson stayed or Edge stayed in WWE, they would have something similar too.
Yeah.
But I
Poor
think
Edge too. Left right before all of this started happening.
I know.
He got a. I mean, he got his last match with Sheamus on a SmackDown, but wasn't much of a
Yeah,
farewell.
yeah, but that he's still wrestling.
Mm.
So we'll see how long he's got left in him. All right, but switching gears, and I don't want to take too much time, but
Yeah.
we haven't been on here in a while. Obviously, a lot's been going on in WWE, AEW. Give me one. We'll go back and forth. Give me three things. Just three things. Go one. I'll do another, and we'll go back and forth. Three things that, since we've come on last, kind of you want to talk about, or that you want to mention.
Okay. So I know it says WWE updates on here, but I want to give an AEW update. I think Mercedes Moné has been one of the biggest stories in wrestling that nobody really wants to talk about. I love it. I've loved this belt collector gimmick that she's been doing. It's copying Ultimo Dragon back in the day. She's a real student of the game. I think it doesn't get a lot of the fanfare that it absolutely should. People are giving her a lot of criticism about what this does to all those other titles that she has and what it does for the TBS championship. But I am of the mindset that her star power actually does lift up the other people that will eventually beat her for these titles. I think that's the whole point of it. You have all these titles only to end up losing them all. And we've already started to see a little bit of that over the last week or so. She just lost to Red Velvet in at Ring of Honor Final Battle. So I think already we're kind of seeing this is what she can do. She could end up sort of making other people and giving them a springboard. And I love it. I think I've always been a big Mercedes fan, and I think this is just her giving back. And I'm just all for it. I think she's a great worker. She's doing some of the best, kind of the best work of her career right now. So, but that's my big thing.
Very fair. Very fair. I agree. I think, unfortunately, you're right. She can bring up some talent around her. I just don't know that she has the equal to her in there. I think, you had like Britt Baker, who probably had a shot. She's just not even on TV. You got Tony Storm. You got a few other female talents on there that are good, but imagine her in WWE with all of the talent they have now. Like, I mean, what ifs, right? If what
Right.
ifs
We got to
were,
live in the present.
yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah. Um, I'll give you one real quick. The Vision.
Mhm.
I think they are slowly coming around to be a pretty cool faction.
Yeah.
I think without Seth Rollins, I think that threw a big wrinkle into this whole faction. But I think as we go into 2026, I think that it's going to be a little bit bigger than you think.
Mhm.
And I would love to see them kind of, and I'm going to use this loosely here, but I would love to see them kind of have the NWO take where they just cause chaos within
Mhm.
WWE and people start to hate them because of it, right? And another group comes up to kind of stop that chaos. It doesn't have to be a full NWO angle, right? Like you're not going to get that same thing, but that same kind of concept, I think would be pretty cool, and I think it would build the
Mhm.
stars that they have in there. And you can see they're really starting to push Braun Breaker, which is
Yeah.
good. We'll see if he
Yeah.
can carry the load there. So that's mine. All right, give me one more.
All right. So, man. All right. All right. So the next one I'll say is it's about the NXT Women's Division, which I think is quickly becoming one of the better divisions in wrestling. I think the main roster is gonna be like their cup will overfloweth in the next year or two with the crop of women that are down there and the quality of it. You got Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, Sol Ruka, who we're going to see on Saturday. We also got the Evolve Women's Champion Kendall Gray, who just recently won uh, the Iron Survivor. I almost called it the Championship Scramble. It's an old match. It was similar, but yeah, the Iron Survivor Challenge. She had a great showing. Everybody in that match, the Iron Survivor, the women's Iron Survivor was better than the men's. And I feel like that's becoming more of the rule than the exception in NXT lately, is that the women's division is overall, I think, the more stronger in terms of story, talent, just overall. So I think that we're going to have in the next couple of years, look for some of those folks to be coming up to the main roster and making a pretty big impact.
Okay, like that. I'm going to go with the storyline outside of wrestling that involves wrestling is Netflix Warner Brother Discovery merger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's going to happen there? I mean, that's a storyline in itself. I mean, imagine having AEW and WWE on the same network. Will they do that? Will that work out? Like, how does that work? Does
I don't know.
Netflix still buy them? I know there's trying to be like this hostile takeover from Paramount, right? And Paramount is really making a push to make sure that Netflix doesn't buy them because, listen, outside of wrestling, this is a big deal. You think of movies today, and they're struggling, the movie theaters. If Warner Brothers goes bye-bye, it's another knock to movie companies. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm intrigued by that. I know it's not directly involving wrestling, but it's definitely an interesting theory. And I think it has the potential to shake up the whole wrestling industry again. And if there's no AEW, like I don't like that. So we want to make sure there's going to be AEW around. So
I have faith that they'll figure something out, but I think right now it's just a big question mark about what all.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan is too much of a wrestling fan and has invested too much in this to just, even if it didn't work out, he would figure something else out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But the idea of being on Netflix and being able to navigate the tab between WWE and AEW would be fantastic.
Yeah,
just for simplicity's sake, because I'm sick of going around to 5 different streaming services. That's my old man rant.
Yeah, until your Netflix price is just as much as cable price, and then you got to pay $39 for ESPN Plus, and now you got to pay $40 for
ways
Netflix.
Around that.
I'm sure there are, but like
Stephanie
if you're
McMahon
doing
is
it,
talking about some of these alternatives to watching PLEs.
Yeah,
so
but
I think they are very aware of that.
Yeah, but the thought process behind it to spend all that money is difficult. But anyways, I digress. This could be a whole podcast. So, all right, give me your last one.
The last one is having to do with Bayley. So I know I'm sticking a lot with the women's division here, but Bayley over the last weekend had this big like lodestone women's retreat in wrestling with just a bunch of women's wrestlers from all around the globe coming for this retreat, and had a lot of sort of the who's who in women's wrestling there. I know Charlotte was there, Lyra was there. I think Natty, Bianca were there at some points, and even John Cena was there for a whole day and was working out with them in the ring, critiquing matches. I think it was a really cool moment for the business that, despite what us, the fans, sometimes do in terms of tribalism, this was sort of bigger than that and just kind of uniting people as a whole. And, I'm a sucker for that stuff. So I think it was great. And, just makes you just love what Bayley does and what she means to the business.
Very fair. Very fair. My last one is, I would say, where is MJF? And I mean that in the fact of like, I feel like AEW needs MJF. I think, listen, they've been putting on some pay-per-views and they've been fine. Like, again, I've watched them. I watched the last one, but man, they're so long, and there's like, it feels like there's 50 matches. Like it starts 5 o'clock and goes till 1 a.m. And I think I'm fine with having more matches, but I think they need to like trim it down a little bit. But also they need, like, I couldn't name one of the matches going into, was it Full Gear was the last one, I think, that was on. And I think they need MJF, and I actually don't know where he is. I don't know if he's filming movies or if he's hurt or what, but man, they have a really big star there that I think they really need to capitalize on, because I think I really do think he can draw numbers for them. Like I'm intrigued when he comes on, if I know he's going to be on there. But these days, like you don't know if he's even going to be on Dynamite or on a pay per view. Like I don't even know where he is. So that's my 2 cents there.
His face is on the milk carton. We're all looking for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, that's right. But is he on the ice cream bar? Is the real question.
He'd love to be. All right. Well, I don't know about you, Vito, but I got nothing else now. I feel like we got out everything, and I'm calling it. Gunther wins. He's gonna make Cena tap. He's gonna be the next guy to do it.
I think that's fair. I'm not giving a prediction because I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm not giving one.
Well, you know, we got a lot coming down the pike. Very excited that everybody was here for this episode today. Thank you for being along for it. We're going to have some other episodes coming your way. We'll hopefully break the walls down on another Superstar Spotlight episode very soon. And if schedule allows, we're going to try to give you guys something else this month. But if we don't, these things happen. And we wish everybody a very happy holidays and happy New Year. The last time is now. Keep on strutting, jabronis.